Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, welcoming you back to another episode of our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play, where we're diving right back into Elite Zoo North to hopefully accomplish a fair bit today. Now before I do that, I just really quickly want to point out, as it was pointed out to me in the comments of the previous session, we are at 22,000 conservation credits. For some reason, I feel like my mind was just simply ignoring the possibility, just did not believe that was possible, and I kept reading it as 2.2k, not 22k. So maybe it's time to start spending some more money on some of these animals. 22,000 conservation credits, spending more conservation credits on getting new animals, some higher, quality animals when the opportunity presents itself. But anyways, that's a whole different thing. Let's dive on into our zoo. And as we dive into the zoo, folks, just want to mention really quickly, as always, if you've been enjoying this series and you'd like to see it continue, please don't hesitate to keep letting me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. It makes a very big difference in how I approach content on the channel, as you very well know by now. It lets me know what y'all are interested in, and on top of that, I do read through each and every comment. It's just fun for me to read through comments. I love seeing, people get engaged and enjoy what they're watching. I love reading through opinions and thoughts and fun facts and whatever it is you have to share. So don't hesitate to share it. Doesn't matter if it's a long comment or a short comment. I see many of you apologize for long comments or multiple separate comments. No apologies necessary. I love it. I genuinely enjoy reading through your comments. So thank you very much for that. Now I want to mention one quick sidebar before we get into this. I recently kicked off a new series on this channel for a game that I was and am super excited for, and you might be interested in it. YouTube might not have pushed it to you because it's a little different from Planet Zoo. So just thought you might want to check out the Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord Let's Play that I just kicked off. I guess it would be yesterday as of the release of this video. I'll have a link to it in a pinned comment down below. It's a really role-play heavy thing, so I get into character and it's a lot of fun. It's not for everybody that's watching this perhaps, but just thought I'd mention it in case it is for you and maybe you'd enjoy it. If you check it out, I'd greatly appreciate that. Anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and get right to work. The first thing we have to do is get rid of this important alert. This is, again, just one of those, the game is paused, and so the game doesn't know things are working just fine. It's trying to make me feel bad for something that isn't wrong. But let's go ahead and, first of all, as y'all pointed out, reduce the salary of our brand new vet over here. Where are we? Oh, sorry. I just realized I need to adjust a little something in my notes here. My bad. But yes, our new vet. Where are you? Vet. Wow. Oh my God, we have so many vendors. Vet. There we go. Deanna Dickens is, of course, the one. Let's go ahead and rank her up. And let's go ahead and, yes, drop her salary down. So, well caught by all of you. Thank you very much. And apart from that, on the topic of being among our staff, of course, we're going to be doing a little bit of renaming. There's only a couple of names to rename, so I hope y'all don't mind that I don't do a whole, cut and edit around it. But we have ourselves a new vet, Katie. We also have a couple new keepers that I'll be adding, and we also have a new security guard. And I will be hiring more staff today as well, and I should actually be training quite a few of them today as well. So lots of work to be done here. Let's go ahead and get Orville Andrews here, leveling up to level 5, and you are going to be renamed, sir, to Mike. And I'll mention, as always, folks, if I'm butchering any of these pronunciations, you let me know in the comments so that I can correct my errors. I apologize for any butchery that might be happening. I try to get them right always. And let me just quickly check over here. Yes, I want to make sure I've got the little icon that sets apart our members and patrons' names. So let's go ahead and get Miriam Simper renamed. You are going to be Lauren Mack. And then let's go ahead and get Laura Nicholson here renamed to Ashley. Ashley Horan. There we go. So that's all of our new staff members or newly named staff members. We also have some sponsors that we'll be implementing for the animals, but I'm going to do that as a part of the beauty pass we have planned today because I feel like it'll be... when that idea was suggested to me, I was immediately like blown away by it because I was like, oh, that's such a real thing. So I want to make the sponsor boards feel like a part of the beautification of the zoo. It's not just a matter of getting names in. I want it to feel super integrated, like we do with the staff. These are actual people that actually take care of our animals. So I really like that suggestion. We've got 10 work zones, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hire 10 keepers. Okay, let's go ahead and find ourselves a... Look at this crowd. I was just about to say, let's go ahead and find ourselves a nice empty spot, but my lord, the croc dock is really quite busy. Oh my, look at this. Look at this. It brings me so much joy, and the Bankrupt night market as well. Yeah, super packed. Oh, wow. Would you look at that? Oh man, I am so happy right now. I'm overjoyed. Oh, is that a turd or a baby croc? I couldn't tell from the distance. Oh man, yeah. See, the loops do make a big difference. And if we go up over here, wow. Oh, I'm so happy right now. I'm so happy right now. So very busy, and even this underpass over here is pretty busy. I imagine there's no crowd in here right now. Oh, would you look at that? I was wrong. Fair enough. Not as busy as it has been at times, but still pretty busy. Super cool. Super cool. Sorry, I got distracted. My bad. I totally got distracted there, but I needed to take that in. That's insane. All right, let's go ahead and find a good empty spot close to the center-ish of the zoo, which really is more like here, because I want to just drop them all here and make sure they can all get to their work zones. And you know what? I lied. I said I was going to get 10. I'm actually going to get 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my God, 6, and a 7, and 8, and a 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. My God. Okay. Sorry about the time taken in getting these guys in, but it's very important, I think, that we actually sort this out right now, because it's becoming pretty evident that we have issues across the zoo when animals need, food, or their habitats need cleaning or what have you. So we're going to go ahead and add 2 well, we've just added 2 keepers per work zone, and we're going to go ahead and let them do all of the duties in their specific work zone. So I will be giving them specific work zones, and that way we ensure that they will, what's what I'm looking for? They'll stay on top of things a bit more, or will be on top of things a bit more across the entire zoo. That's my hope. And as I'm doing this, I just want to very quickly mention, folks, I apologize if my voice seems a little off today. It certainly feels a little hoarse, and it's just because because of that other series I was mentioning. It involves a lot of impassioned yelling, and as a result of that, I think I lost my voice yesterday. It is on its way back, but you know what? I don't quite mind how I think this voice sounds. So that's these guys. So yeah, I just wanted to apologize because I know sometimes it can be a little strange. I wanted to address the elephant in the room. If I wasn't in the zone assigning these, I would very much, yes, scroll over to the elephant enclosure to go along with me saying elephant in the room, but I just want to get this all done for us. Yeah, I do genuinely think this will help a fair bit, because I've for a while now, I've been tired of seeing the notifications pop up repeatedly of like things not being taken care of, and I'm sure y'all have been getting tired of that as well. So hopefully this will finally do the trick for that. And I think what I'll do is I'll also add some, what's what I'm looking for? Some mechanics perhaps, and maybe even some more security guards, because we're okay for security. I don't think we've had a serious problem in a while, but those are famous last words, and I'm not interested in famous last words. Go ahead and East Asia for you, and East Asia for you as well. They'll all find their way. And so let's go ahead, and as far as the mechanics and stuff are concerned, I think we'll just get a couple who can free roam, and the same thing with security guards as well. A couple free roaming mechanics should do the trick, and let's make sure a couple of, yeah, security guards as well. Oh, and you know what? one more thing I need to do. So let's get these guys set up right. And by set up right, I mean woefully underpaid. Oh, sorry, not the security guards. Not underpaid. They're at market value. Let's not be mean. If it was underpaid, then I'd have a hard time doing it. And I wanted to, right, also, as some of y'all suggested, I should get many more vendors. And vendors, I'm pretty sure we don't have to adjust their salaries because they're already, yep. So I'm just going to get a bunch of vendors because when we, about, like a quarter of the way through the Let's Play now, at one point we were trying to have 2 vendors per stall because they work in shifts. Unfortunately, somewhere down the line, that stopped happening, and now we have a lot of time where vendors are without any, or rather stalls are without any vendors, and as a result of that, no one's buying anything or selling anything, so things can't be bought, and that's just a giant waste of potential. We could be making money as people walk by, but we're not because the stores are closed, and that's absolutely ridiculous. So just gonna spread some vendors around. Might be overkill, but you know what? It's fine because we're always adding new shops. So I'd rather have more than not. And the reality is that we're making more than enough money, folks. We're making more than enough money, so we might as well, take advantage of that a little bit and spend a little bit. You make money to spend money, right? And I think it's time we spend some money on our staff because if we take a look at our finances, in fact, you can see like 2 years ago, sure, we had a bit of a dip, probably because I was doing a lot of construction. Last year, look at that. Money was just fine. Those orangutan are bringing in a lot of dough. And as we, we've got the bears in now here as well. So we're going to see more money coming through. And of course, as we get to China and the Arctic, hopefully that'll start generating more revenue. I think that's about everything I wanted to do before we dove into our time lapse. I want to address the fact that there are 2 walls over here. You cannot join 2 separate enclosures, unfortunately. So that's why I have to actually do this. So I saw a couple of you mention that, but just wanted to clear the air about that. And before I dive into the time lapse, I want to go in over here and just apply hold on a second. Where is, where is, oh, there it is. Yeah. Wow. The camouflage working real good. So this was the first ever toilet block we ever put down. And I got a request way back when to actually have this one be sponsored. And since this is the toilet block itself, and it's not going to have a sponsor card or anything, I thought we'd name it the Gordon F toilet block. Anyways, with that done, let's go ahead into our time lapse. And of course, you let me know if that's satisfactory or if it requires a sponsor board as well. I think having the name be the Gordon F toilet block is great, but if we need to do more, let me know. But folks, let's dive on into our time lapse again. The plan is a bit of a beauty pass. We're gonna get some names down. We're gonna get these sponsor boards set up. I'm really excited to take a crack at them and see how we can execute them. But yeah, enough of me rambling. Time to get to work. Let's dive on into this time lapse. All right, folks, time for a rather long time lapse. Much longer than I expected, but that's starting to sound like a bit of a habit for me to say that. It ends up being quite hefty, but we end up accomplishing a lot, including the updating and slash upgrading, I guess, of the sign over here for Orangutan. It was pointed out a couple of episodes ago when we first put it down that maybe we could use the bigger characters for it, and I agreed back then. I just didn't have the opportunity to update it until just now, and it was also pointed out that there is in fact an orangutan not sculpture, but figure, I guess, and so I decided to integrate that, of course, as well, because why miss this golden opportunity? So I'm quite happy with how the sign looks now, especially with the added flair there, and it's a bit larger as well, so it really has that presence. So Orangutan has been fixed up. We also have a great name for our little corner for the rhinos over here. This is I found this really interesting because I learned something new as a result of this suggestion, and that's always cool. But apparently the collective noun for, actually, you know what? I'm going to let you guys guess. What is the collective noun for the rhinos? As the letters are coming in, just take any opportunity to guess, just for yourselves. The collective noun for rhinos. is a crash. What a cool collective noun. And so I got that as a suggestion. Well, the suggestion is Crash Corner. And I was, again, I learned something. And I like the alliteration, of course, and I thought I'd get to do a little bit of a visual play over here with the A there being shattered into pieces because, you know, a rhino crashed into it. And I like the sound of it overall. There's a lot of reasons why that one kind of stood out to me. Again, you know, there's always good name suggestions, and I appreciate all the suggestions that come through. I think it's so, like, interesting to see how people think and what appeals to people. So I'm so glad that that y'all keep them coming. This time around, Crash Corner won it because yeah, just so many levels of it. I guess I don't know. I really liked it. And I hope y'all do as well. So Crash Corner, finally, a name has been given to our rhino's enclosure, but of course, despite me putting the name down visually, I just realized I didn't actually assign the name to the habitat. So I need to remember to do that next session because technically the habitat is still unnamed. But yeah, you know, hopefully everybody learned something new today. And I believe there's 2 collective nouns for rhinos. One is a crash and one is a stubbornness, I think it was, which to me is equally, if not more hilarious. Well, it's more hilarious, but a crash of rhinos is more, you know, just like cool. Yeah, so it's like either a crash of rhinos or a stubbornness of rhinos. So let that sink in for a second, I guess. Anyway, that aside, I decide to you know, kind of finish our little balcony area here, or whatever we want to call it, by adding a couple of those pillars and making it match the aesthetic. But playing around with it a little bit as well, you'll see I delete the second story of pillars because I just wanted to support the ground level. I don't want it to, like, there's no rooftop or anything. This is an open space area, and I like the look of those little, you know, fabric coverings and whatnot, so we're going to keep that as is. And I want to try and make sure that the animals actually can't get down here either. So I know this is supposed to be a bit of a beauty pass, but we end up doing some important, you know, functional stuff as well. You'll see. So, for example, now we're diving into beauty by recoloring the concrete barriers over here. But yeah, so we've got our food and drink area back there sorted out. It's got it's not overdone, but I don't want to overdo it. I like how it kind of feels and looks. It's this open space, and now it actually has some physical support as well. Now with that out of the way, I wanted to get onto those sponsor boards. And like I said, I want to make the sponsor boards interesting to look at. I want them to look compelling. And again, to me, one of the main reasons why I like the idea of these sponsor boards is because sponsoring animals is, you know, a very real thing. A lot of zoos do it. A lot of, what are they called? Like wildlife sanctuaries, they do it. And it's, you know, it's a nice tie-in to the real world. So I really like the idea. This first one, I'm going to butcher the names, and I do apologize for butchering names. Always feel free to correct me in the comments. So the first one is Louise Zuvide for the peafowl. And you'll see I play around a little bit with how we're going to lay these names out. Now, it's a bit of a challenge. I don't want to do individual lettering for every single name because realistically, that's going to take forever. But also, aesthetically, I wanted to try and do something with the typeface limitation. So we're actually going to come back to the peafowl ones because I'm not very satisfied with what we ended up with. At the time, I was like, yeah, this is great. But then I realized, no, it's not. I am sometimes my own worst critic. So over here, we're going to move on to the tigers. And among the tigers, we have 3 sponsors so far. Jessica Heimer, whose sign we're working on right now, Boxer Beat 101, and Kiki Bennett, whose signs we'll be working on after this one. So what I'm trying to do over here is have each animal, or at the very least each type of animal, have its own sponsor board aesthetic, so it feels like it marries into the area, it marries into the rest of the region's aesthetic and look and feel. And then going from there. So, you know, if we add more sponsors for any of these animals, and we have now, for at least some of these animals, we have a pre-existing aesthetic and construct that we can apply. The music is very appropriate, just by pure chance. This time around, I just kind of like randomly selected a section. I was like, let's go with this section of the music, and I just realized that it's been very, very very fitting. You can see me actually going in now and changing the type color as well, making it match the animal in this case. While back over here, you can see, yes, I come back because I go, compared to those signs, this one feels like a very different kind of sign. So I completely reworked this, and you can see I start by putting the sign down and changing the color of the type. And then a little trick here, what you can do is you can add empty spaces, just hit spacebar at the beginning or at the end of your words in a sign, and it will kind of compress the lettering a little bit. But here, yeah, you can see me completely begin to revamp and rework what these boards are going to look like, and try to integrate it a bit better, so it doesn't look like, you know, a wall of just a wall where countless names are going to be put down. So we're using those recolorable, that's a word, right? We're using the recolorable India elements, and then using the cap there to actually create the background for our lettering. Then we're just going to tuck that right in against the wall, group it up, of course, and I think that looks infinitely better. Marries in nicely, and yeah, it's a good way to, you know, have the board up, I think, at least. Now with the polar bears, I was trying to figure out where exactly I wanted to put the names down. I thought it'd be really nice to have names on the central circle over here, but it was a matter of how do we build something that the name can be up at the top, but we won't be digging down below and having something poke out, you know, in the floor underneath us. So just toying around, and I end up using what has ended up being my favorite piece out of the Arctic expansion, honestly. I've used this thing for so many different things, but over here, our one and only sponsor thus far for the polar bears is Asteria. Asteria? I hope I apologize if I'm ruining names, folks. I'm sure I've done it already countless times, and I will wholeheartedly accept corrections to the pronunciation so I can get them right in the future, if and when needed. So yeah, building this over here using some of those Arctic pieces, again, wanting to marry the aesthetic of the area, and again, wanting it to be like, as you walk around, you're able to see who the sponsor of this animal are. So if we get more, they'll kind of fill out that circle in the middle. And next up is the wolves. Are the wolves? Next up are the wolves. English. And I actually was thinking about how we can integrate it in a way that the bears could be different from the wolves. The bears don't have any sponsors just yet, but I wanted to make sure I left my options open, and I'm actually really happy with this one as well. I'm pretty happy with all of them. I might revisit some. No, actually, you know what? I did revisit them in this time lapse. Wow, this was such a long time lapse. I forgot everything I did. More on that later. But yeah, I like this one as well. We again use that same kind of very graphic set of pieces that we got from the Arctic DLC. And I'm actually curious to see how this will look at night, because what we end up doing is we group it up and we rotate it just ever so slightly, and I feel like the light will look really nice on that. So that was Ashley Horan for the wolves, and then moving on from that, we've got who do we work on next? I do bounce around a little bit because I was going to do the snow leopards next, but I was like, I don't have any ideas right now, so I move on to our giant pandas, and this is the one that I do and then I actually revisit later. So basically, I was like, all these pieces, they already look so good. How can I modify them to look better? But we'll come back to this one, and we'll make it look much better, I think, at least. So Mike's the one sponsoring our giant pandas, specifying giant because, as I've learned through this game, there are, other things that get filtered in when you just search panda. And then we actually got some sponsors for our exhibits as well. They're obviously open too. So our first and only sponsor for the Western Diamondback Rattlesnake over here is Trey Moore. And this was an interesting challenge because I was like, okay, well, how do we manage to fit? How do we manage to integrate this properly? Because with the enclosures, with the big habitats, we have a lot of room, a lot of real estate, and a lot of I guess different layouts that we can integrate into. Whereas with most of our exhibits, it's a very small amount of real estate that you get to play with. And I was like, well, why not right at the education board? And if we have multiple education boards, then we will have multiple. You can see me struggling to select things. If we have multiple education boards, then that's how we can stack more and more sponsors for a specific exhibit if a specific exhibit were to get more. I actually really enjoyed this exercise in laying these out, because this is a core part of design that actual zoos need to do. You know, when a sponsorship comes through. So sorry, we actually got Blossom Herd there sponsoring the Goliath Bird Eaters. So I wanted to make note of that. And over here, yeah, you can see this is the revisit that I forgot about. I was just struggling a little bit to like, okay, what can we do here that makes it really look nice? And then I flipped this around and I was like, oh, we're onto something. We're really onto something here. I really like how that looks a lot more than what we had before. So we've repositioned that. And then with that done, I was like, okay, now I've got an idea for the snow leopards. And it's subtle, but I like it in its subtlety. I think it's really quite nice. And our sponsor for the snow leopards is Akatilla. And I like it because as you're going up the steps, you can see who the sponsors were, and we can even do it in order of, you know, if they get more sponsors down the line, we can kind of do it in order of sponsorship. So as you're going up, you can see who came in when. It kind of tells you the history of the zoo and the animals and the people that helped it come together and helped it all happen. And as I'm adjusting the little balcony space over here, just want to mention, on the tangent I was on earlier, one of the reasons I like this exercise a lot is because, yeah, it's something that, you know, not just zoos, but museums and schools and parks always have to consider is when they put up a sign for, you know, either a sponsor or when a family buys a plaque and does something in loving memory of someone. You know, how do you design that? How do you respect that? So this was a very fun exercise for me. Like in Toronto, a lot of our park benches are in loving memory of people, and I don't know, I find it interesting. So this was a lot of fun for me. Now over here, actually, there was some talk in the comments of the previous episode, and ultimately, I'll explain why after the time lapse, so I won't explain it now, but ultimately I decided to go in and put a pip shot water up over here and try and encapsulate it in a way that it marries into the aesthetic as best as possible. There was a suggestion of making it look like a monastery as well. Unfortunately, I don't think... Well, you know what? Actually, I guess we could have maybe used the white brick walls and thrown the roof over top of it. So, okay, I guess we could have done that. That's my bad, but I ended up going with a slightly different route, which I personally like. It adds a little bit of variety as well. We managed to use some of the pieces to create a you know, shop front that isn't typically used to create a shop front. It's got that nice little arch to it as well. Arc, whichever. But yeah, so we've got ourselves a little pip shot water up there, and hopefully it will bring people through. Now, naturally, it looks very unnatural because there's no supports to actually keep this what looks like a massive stone block up in the air like that. So I further secure the bridge over here with more supports because yeah, it looked a little too unrealistic, and we're hopefully we're not encroaching too much on the animal space. If we are, we'll see if there's another way to integrate the thing up there, or maybe we just... I don't want to get rid of this like quote-unquote balcony viewing area. Our adjustments today actually made it a decent viewing spot. Like, it's reduced, like the education boards actually detect the animal now and all, so you know that problem has been fixed. So I'd like to keep it. I'd like to try and make it work. And then finally, or at least I think this is the last thing we tackled today, there was a suggestion for looping this back area, and I mentioned it a couple of episodes ago, and like I said back then as well, I think I wanted to execute it today with this beauty pass, and it was a great idea that came through, and I was instantly like, yep, we're gonna do it, and it's a great way to integrate it. It will unfortunately though require a little bit of adjusting of our water filtration and power generation back over here because those have those massive negative radii. And by the way, the reason why I don't use wind turbines, I use solar panels very often. Wind turbines have a larger radius of effect, sure. However, wind turbines also have a negative impact radius, whereas solar panels do not, which is why I prefer the solar panel, because then I don't have to worry about that. I know that I can just, you know, put it down basically wherever I need to. I don't have to worry about proximity to guests. So yeah, we were able to fix this pretty quickly, or at least it looks quick in the time-lapse. Unfortunately, though, this is a problem that I'm not able to fix because the curved path doesn't allow me to attach a solar panel next to it, except for in positions that are too far away. So I nudge the security camera over and I get rid of that education board, and we need to keep an eye out to see if that's going to cause us any issues in the future. So let's just try and remember to keep an eye out for that. And now comes the actual execution of this idea, was to build a wooden bridge, and I really, really loved it. Now, unfortunately, I can't make it look as rickety as the wooden bridge in, say, our orangutan enclosure or the Bengal tiger enclosure, because people actually need to be able to walk over this, and so there has to be a path underneath it. But with that said, I feel like we do a decent job of making it feel like it's part of the aesthetic. I think it looks quite right, so to speak. Quite right is an understatement. I think it looks pretty spot on for what I was going for and what we're hoping for back over here. And as we get closer to these curved areas, I do have to get a little bit more specific, a little bit more iterative, I suppose. And you can see I have to put more posts down and I have to rotate the panels more often. I like it. But yeah, so this is a pretty cool spot. Hopefully guests will actually use it now, because it does allow them to loop around and, you know, rejoin with the rest of the zoo, which we're theorizing is a big reason why guests don't go to certain spots. But we'll see about that. We'll see exactly how well this works, and this working well or not is going to affect certain other loops that we may or may not want to build in the zoo. Last couple, you know, finishing touches to that as well. I wanted to make sure that we had some vines and things like that, so it feels like it's part of the whole, you know, enclosure. And a couple of benches, a couple of bins, of course, because people are animals and they don't know how to not be terrible sometimes. And over here, of course, I thought this would be a pretty interesting view if we just, you know, changed the terrain a little bit. I thought it'd be a nice way to kind of sneak a peek at the dragons from a different angle. So why not? And plus, I don't want guests walking through that area, not having seen anything, not being educated, and as a result being upset. Right. I think this is the last thing we do. This was suggested as well in the comments, that we kind of block off more of the underpass area so that the animals spend less time hiding down there. So hopefully this makes a difference. The other thing I need to do is actually get more elephants in, but that's a conversation for later, folks. That is the time lapse. I hope you enjoyed this beauty pass. We got a little bit more than just beauty done, I would say. But overall, I think the views are looking pretty good. All right, folks, we are back from a fairly long time lapse. I hope you enjoyed that one. We did accomplish a fair bit. I'm pretty satisfied with the end results across the board, especially with this little bridge idea over here. I'm sure I mentioned it during the time lapse, but it came up in the comments of an episode or two ago, I think, or maybe even 3 or 4 episodes ago. But really, really cool idea. Nice way to bring this loop back in, and hopefully that will, in fact, bring some more traffic, you know, through this area, through that back area especially. And I'm very curious to see if that works out. Apart from that, I'm really hoping that we start to see some more traffic through the entirety of the elephant enclosure. And hopefully by sealing off some of these walls, the elephants will spend more time in the center. And oh my god, what a cutie again. Kept distracting me during the time lapse too. I don't know. Oh, what a cutie. What an absolute cutie. Now, the adults as well, many of you pointed out that I should check to make sure they can walk through. I did check during the time-lapse. They are able to come through as well, so that's very good for us. And over here as well, we've got, oh, you know what? Wow, how did I was thinking about it too while I was laying this section out, but then clearly it slipped by my mind, so I apologize, but I'm going to very quickly go in and get this done. Not going to take me very long to do, of course. Just got to get the brick walls in here. I didn't want to overcomplicate this area. There was enough, you know, complicated stuff in the area already. At a certain point, if you do too much, it becomes too much. Too much of anything is bad, right? And it becomes a cacophony of just noise and gaudiness. And so I wanted to avoid that. So I kept these relatively simple. They're not, you know, bare, but they are relatively simple, like in comparison to yeah, everything else. This is not looking right. I gotta adjust this, don't I? Yeah, let's go ahead and just nudge it forward a little bit, I think. That'll do the trick, because this thing should fit perfectly, if I'm not mistaken. Might need to move that front step back a little bit, maybe? Is that what you want for that? Yes, there we go. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. All right, and let's go ahead and get our sandstone roof as well. Well, floor, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. There we go. And I don't think I want to get... I could build like coverings and stuff over here, but part of me really kind of doesn't want to. I like the open space, and I understand some people might want the cover for, you know, rain and stuff. And sure, we could put this down, like do a little extension over here so people can actually take cover if it starts to rain. We could pull some of these pillars over as well if I wanted to get real fancy over here. Where are we? Let's get you... Like, I'd have to put this down. Let's see. Wow. See, this is what happens. This is why sometimes I like doing a little review of what happened to the time-lapse, even though the time-lapse just ended, while vocalizing my thoughts, because it brings things up that I may have missed. And in this case, you know, quite clearly did miss. So I hope y'all don't mind, but it's just a way to make sure that I stay on top of things from like a completion perspective. I'm sure I would have missed where's the... There we go. I'm sure I would have missed, or I would have realized that we were missing some coverings, but the overall idea of getting the, you know, rain canopy going and things like that, I don't think I would... If I wasn't saying it out loud, I don't think I would have thought it either. Potentially. Who knows? I'm just, you know, making stuff up at this point. Let's go ahead and get this done real quick here, because there's lots more to do today. Minimize the waste of time. Let's go ahead and pull this right up to there, so we know that we have to raise these up a little bit. So, all right, fair enough. We've got a little, you know, covered area so that if it starts to rain, people are still able to shop without any issues, and we could probably actually extend that a little bit further over here as well, if we wanted to. Not necessarily a fan of how that looks. Let's leave it like this. I prefer this for sure. All right, so that is that all done. Apart from that, what else have we got? Right, there were some changes I made up over here. So we do have ourselves a store up over here. There was a lot of conversation in the comments, and I really like the idea of like, based on what y'all said in the comments, I got to thinking as well, and I really liked the idea of a bit of a rest stop. Now, this is obviously not Tibet, but when I was in Tokyo, just outside of Kyoto, there is the very, very famous image of those shrines, like back-to-back-to-back shrines. You know, it looks like a red hallway. I went there, and it's actually, there's a huge hike involved, but the hike is so huge that there were constant pit stops with benches and water and things like that. And I was like kind of seeing how even in very, you know, holy and what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what's the word? I'm so sorry. But like even in grounds that are, you know, considered sacred, there it is. We need to be realistic, right? So I felt like it made sense to at least have water over here, and it was a great name suggestion too. Honestly, y'all make my life very difficult with how great the name suggestions are. So the Pipshot water up over here is going to be called Mountain Dew. No affiliation. They don't sponsor me or anything. I actually I don't care for Mountain Dew, if I'm completely honest. Canada Dry is where it's at. But yeah, Mountain Dew. Sorry, Coca-Cola is where it's at. But you know, if I'm comparing Mountain Dew to something, yeah. So dew as in like dew, you know, like the actual word dew. So I like that a lot. But with that out of the way, and my plugging of my favorite sodas to drink out of the way, let's go ahead and get some names down over here. So again, there are so many excellent suggestions, guys. Yeah, y'all make it really difficult for me, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. For our chief beef over here, this is yet another chain being introduced into our zoo, I suppose. There were a lot of great suggestions. This one had the most likes as well as conversation, so I took that as an indication of support. So it looks like we're going in with another Bear Grylls, and we also have, for our drink shop down over here, Mount Beverest. Oh man, I just can't even. I honestly can't even. So Mount Beverest, Bear Grylls, and up top over here, of course, the Mountain Dew. I'm Oh man. So all that aside though, we do still need a name for this enclosure. And you look at the weird, I hope it's because we're paused right now, but you can see how the texture is like not loading in, eh? We just keep pushing the game beyond its limits. But right, we need a name for this enclosure, and I've come very close. I've kind of narrowed it down to two. I had a lot that I really like, but I narrowed it down to these two, and they're very, very tonally different. So I'm going to throw it up for a vote. Under the eye at the top right corner of the screen, a little poll is going to pop up, so y'all let me know what we're going to call this enclosure. And as you vote, I'm going to go ahead and move this. Another thing that I noticed during the time lapse, but forgot to correct. Let's go ahead and move you over here and pop you up right over here in the middle. Yes, please. So the two choices are, as you may have already seen if you're voting. Where are we? There we go. So yeah, one is Himalayan Hideout, which I really like. It's kind of a callback to our Grizzly Grove Himalayan Hideout. It's got that nice feel to it. And the other is Monastery. So I like them both for very different reasons, obviously, and I can't decide. So I'll pass the buck on to you guys. You get to decide with your vote. I will also mention we shortened this area, and it looks like it is all considered as fair play as far as watching the bears is concerned, because all the education boards now register where they are and what animal they're for. So that means that this is actually now a viewing spot that we could take advantage of. One last thing I wanted to do was double check over here before we hit play. I just wanted to check to make sure that we've got elephants, and elephants over here. As we go on, no education boards over here. That's fine because anybody passing through has already been informed. And then we go over to here and we've got rhinos, and elephants. There it is. Rhinos. Gotcha. And over here as well, elephants should be rhinos. So my apologies about that. Don't know why I got so thrown off, but I did. Stuff happens, I suppose. Matters is that we've recovered without much incident. Unless you call the comments incidents. I wouldn't call them incidents. That sounds, you know, sounds bad. And looks like we have this floating heater as well. Again, thanks to y'all for keeping your eyes out for those, because sometimes I will miss them. There was also the talk of this being a rhino toy for our elephants, but don't worry, elephants like them as well, so that they'll have a good time with this. That's a little repetitive for them, so you might want to swap it out with something else, but we'll deal with that when we do another pass for our animals' happiness. But I believe that is all the little like small management stuff we can do while paused. I am tempted to bring in some more female elephants as well. Right now, how many animals do we have? Among the elephants, we have... Oh, cleanliness is an issue. Well, hopefully all our new keepers and stuff will make quick work of that. We've got 7 animals. One of them is in the trade center. We have 1 male, and he can mate with who? No one in this group. Like one of the elephants in this group, I think. Man, look at those stats, though. Ellie had a recent birth, okay. I assume Ellie is the one. Really good gene potential here. Tanvi would be inbreeding, so she's on contraceptives, and Jasmine would be inbreeding, so also on contraceptives. So we can get some more females in here. Again, if we take a look at their Zoopedia, they are what? They are 3 to 30, up to 1 male, up to 29 females. So we can get a lot more females in here, and they are a matriarchal polygynous. Polygynous? I want to say that as polygynous, but that doesn't sound right. Polygynous. System. So we could get some more females in here. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's out in the market, because we got that money. So not animal storage, sorry, animal market. And I want some more elephants. And I'm never going to complain about having more elephants. I love Indian elephants. So adorable. So beautiful. Majestic is the word. And just elephants are so intelligent. Pihu, I'm going to go ahead and pick you up despite the small size gene. Do I mind that so much? Like, I don't have to rush this, right? But it's been a while. Now, these are all Frontier Zoo elephants. This one's from Red Star, Anika. 26.9. all yellow. I think I prefer all yellow to red. Decent appeal. Very expensive, though. But then again, we've got so many conservation credits, right? Let's compare mates and just see how you would do with Advik. There, it is capped, so we would not, because of that 50 across the board, it consistently brings everything down for us. Don't know how I feel about that. Low welfare for Advik. I think that's because it's paused. Maybe we exhibit a little bit of patience. Something very uncommon for me, but I think I'd like to be a little patient there. Apart from that, if we take a look at our animals, I don't know if we'll need to... Why do we have all you in the trade center still? Thought I got rid of them. 124. I guess I didn't actually trade them out. That's another 50k almost. Let's go ahead and quick trade this. Yeah, let's go. Boom, done. 1.46. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and unpause and see if people are actually starting to use our creations, you know, our changes that we've made. And then we'll also keep an eye out for any management issues. We'll see how our new staff that you can see them over there lined up basically. Well, at least some of them. So we'll see how they're able to keep up and perform and hopefully, you know, cover all our bases and make sure every animal is fed and every habitat is kept clean. But I think most importantly, I'm really looking forward to, or really hoping to find our guests using that back area around the Komodo dragons and exploring maybe the Tibetan Himalayan area out a bit more. Next time around, I think we're going to be focusing on, I'm just talking while the game is unpausing. Next time, I think we're going to be focusing on the China region. Based on the comments, and again, based on my kind of visual inspection of the comments, it seems that a vast majority of you would like to see China before the Arctic. The other option, I'm just going to throw it out there, the other option is that we do one animal in the Arctic, one animal in China, and keep going back and forth. And the reason why I'm throwing that out there is because an interesting point was raised in the comments that we just did the Tibet region, which aesthetically shares some similarities to the China region. So it might feel a little, I don't want to say stale, but you know, it might feel like we've quote unquote been there, done that. So just throwing it out there. I want to hear your thoughts. I'm cool with either way, honestly. I'm excited to do any and all of the above, obviously, as the time comes. So yeah, y'all keep letting me know in the comments how you feel. Staff are spending a lot of time walking. That's just because I put them in the middle of nowhere, so don't worry about that just quite yet. Animals fighting for alpha status is fine by me. I got a couple people we could say hello to. Might as well. I mean, even though our conservation credits are so high up, never complain about more conservation credits or more money or more any of that. And I do hope all of our new vendors are enough. And what I might want to do actually is I might want to set up some training as well. Let's go ahead and actually do some management here. Can't find an accessible staff room with space. We'll need some more staff rooms, I guess. Or it might just be because they're in the wrong spots right now and they're making their way over. We'll find out. Let's, what was I talking about? Training, right. So let's organize by star rating. Oh, by the way, here are all of our named staff members. For those of you that are wondering if your names are still in there, of course they are. We're not removing any names over here, folks. So I just wanted to take a moment to highlight everyone who's decided to take up the perk of channel membership and patronship and whatnot to get their names in here. Quite a few. I'm glad to see people respond to that stuff, because then it's good to know what people are interested in, right? So let's go ahead and get some of these guys trained immediately, because why wait? There's no good reason to wait. Why do tomorrow what you could have done today or perhaps yesterday? Well, let's go ahead and train everybody up here. Wow, it's gonna be a lot of clicks. I wish there was a button where you could like select all 1-star people or select all by a certain, filter, and then just train them all right away. I will be able to afford them even if they're leveled up. I don't think that's gonna be a problem. Let's help our keepers as well. They're gonna get exhausted real quick. All the running around they're gonna have to do. Not very happy right now, which is a curious state. I think it's because they have to travel so far for their first job. So I suppose I should have been a bit more careful about that. Didn't think it would be such a big deal, but here we are. All right, I think we've got to the point where, yeah. In fact, we could rank up the 2 stars and 3 stars as well. Why not? You know, I should probably get some more caretakers as well, now that I think about it. I should probably get some more caretakers as well. Now, folks, as I'm scanning around and as we're experiencing the... what are you looking at from there? Why are you looking at tigers from over here? Go here, where the donation bins are. Don't make me... put one down here. That's absolutely goofy. Oh, looks like Abriel's about to mate again. Not going to complain about that. Animals are stressed down over here. Really? Why is that happening? It's not supremely crowded or anything. At this corner. Is this glass not one way? Oh. No, yeah, it should be one way. Yeah, we're good. Did he get stressed out because of the mating? Did they all get stressed out because of the mating? Because that's what it's looking like. Oh, and Ronith being hungry reminds me. Dude, don't nap with your face in the water. Apparently, I missed out on the notification of new baby tigers. Oh yeah. Annika. Wow, good genes. I like it. 191. The fertility's a little low, but overall pretty good. Poor baby's hungry. Someone feed her. Where's our keeper? We got the piñatas, but I don't think... I don't know if the babies can take on the piñatas, actually. Now I'm curious. And is that all? Is that the only baby we have? And we also have Dhriti, another white Bengal tiger up in here. This is Dhriti? Oh, looks big, isolated like this. And also fantastic genetics, which again doesn't really make sense, but it's okay. It's okay. I really ought to get rid of some of the tigers. I should trade them out or release them to the wild. But before we do that, before we talk about that, I need to talk about what I was getting at just moments ago, which is, folks, the frame rate continues to drop a fair bit. And we just got a new DLC announced as well. Well, just is a relative term here. We've got Africa, and we've got all the new content that's coming. Are you guys okay with this frame rate? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're all fine with it and you want to see the zoo expand despite it, like, it might be a bit more okay when we're focused on, you know, the newish areas and not looking at everything. If you're okay with that, then I'm cool with it. If it's starting to bother people, then we might need to start more seriously considering our new zoo, because yeah, it might become a bit of a problem. And another thing that's a bit of a problem is that I actually haven't done a night pass in a while. We've got a lot of dark spots here and there now, and I need to really consider fixing that. I don't know if I'll do it right now. We are, you know, it's been a pretty long episode and a lot of recording, so I am definitely feeling the exhaustion a little bit. I don't know if I want to do it right now, but something to consider maybe for a future beauty pass or something like that, just to get a couple lights in, light up this enclosure so we can see the animals and stuff as well. I'm pretty sure the people can see the animals. We can always turn the light on. Are you playing with the ball? Do I get to enjoy watching you play with the ball? By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, I would highly recommend looking up the video, sorry, of the orangutan that is washing its hands because it saw its keepers do so. It's absolutely adorable. Absolutely adorable. And also the images of the orangutan that chill with, I think it's otters. Was it otters? I think it was otters. Contraceptives for Amelia. Just, you know, just to bring a smile to your face. Because why not? Absolutely adorable imagery. Alright, listen. Searless. None of these are options, okay? None of these are options. I'm sure there are plenty others that you can chase after. Let's go ahead. Species. I want to look at only the pronghorn antelope. I'm not ready to get rid of Searless. Searless is such a perfect animal in so many ways, right? But let's see if we can't look at just the females here and make sure that Zadie, contraceptives, Yvetia, contraceptives, Emberlin, contraceptives, Amelia needs to be on contraceptives, already is, Benaim, Oh, no, that's where's Yvetia? Did I get the wrong Yvetia? No, I just didn't click that properly. Okay, cool. So we still have Yardley and Tinble as options. Yes, okay, cool. So there are options. Now, let's get out of here. And let's head over to one of the spots that we think people might not be looking at. Well, hold on, what's going on here? Animal is hungry. These guys are all very, very hungry. Why are our keepers not getting to work here? Follow keeper to the habitat. Hasn't been used even once in the last 12 months. Okay. What about the prey? No, that's the prey-scented sack. I'm looking for their food enrichment item, which I think is down here as well, right? Yeah, it is. Keeper en route. Gotta get this done. Tigers are also still hungry. These are not our tigers. Where are they? Dirty. In fact, I should probably mark Dirty with an A at the very least. Maybe not an A star, but an A at the very least. It's still so dope to me that they use their treehouse. I'm so happy. I keep thinking every once in a while I go, oh, you know, they're probably not using it anymore. And then I look back and I get to see them in it, and it just brings me so much joy. Honestly, I'm so pleased with some of the challenges that we took on in this zoo and just really pushed our chances. What are you? Oh, hello. There we go. We're about to get some baby bears. And y'all know how I feel about baby bears. Yeah, I'm watching. I wish I hadn't said that. Now I feel weird. Okay, I mean, hey, if... Alright, listen, I mean... You do you. These guys need some toys and stuff, don't they? We've given them a place to eat. Given them one toy. Oh, we haven't given them food enrichment. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, play with this. Play with this while I look up your toys. Go. Go. Come on. Okay, so I lied about looking up the toys, but did we really want the user interface to get in the way of that? Sorry, I wanted habitat. Enrichment, and we're looking for food enrichment for our Himalayan bears. I thought we put something down, but I guess I was mistaken. We can put the scatter feeder down maybe over here. And they should be able to reach everything, and I believe we've given them enough room now. They'll be able to walk around, and if and when they have a child, it'll be okay as well. Worst case scenario, we can expand it a bit more, because I do believe we still have some bumps that they can't traverse that we can quite easily flatten. So I'm not too... In fact, you know what? No, let's... This honestly, the amount of space I've given them kind of bothers me a lot. It grosses me out, is I think how I would phrase it. Just not happy with that as a... It's just unfair to them. There, that makes me feel a bit better. A bit more room, and we might even try to give them a little bit more. Now, as the sun's coming up, let's go ahead and put our finishing touch up over here, which I forgot to do last time, which is the waterfall. Waterfall bottom is, of course, down over here. There we go. And let's get a waterfall at the top. Would you believe it? At the top. Over here and up over here. And of course our midsection as well. Where are you? Why can I not see you? There we go. Really hard to see that midsection sometimes, isn't it? There it is. Gotta be like at the perfect angle. But there we go. There we go. This looks like it's kind of hovering over here, so I don't like that. Go ahead and adjust you a touch. Bring you down. Bring you over. Cool. Very cool. All right, so that's that. Whoa, game took a second there. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek and see if anyone is in fact coming around the back here. No one quite yet, but it's okay. We just put it out. Ah, yes, there you go. A couple of people. Now, we've seen a handful of people come through in the past as well, so it's not like this is a completely new thing. But, yeah, people are complaining about the Indian elephant view. That's probably likely because we don't have enough animals, but once we get enough animals, that's not going to be a problem anymore. So I'll take the temporary complaining because it is, in fact, temporary. Animals still hungry over here. Hopefully because they're busy with their nap. Hopefully the food has been placed. I saw the keeper come through for the bears. Door is open here, so the keeper must have just come through. Oh, what? Didn't drop food off? Oh, there we go. You're coming through now, right? There we go. About time. I mean, I might need even more keepers. I might be like bursting at the seams and just not realizing it. And it really doesn't hurt to have more, I guess. Right? Like, really doesn't hurt to have more. God, they're so cute. It's so weird to me that the snow specifically over here is having such issues. Pronghorn antelope. Well, we know exactly how this goes. We know exactly who gets to stay. Searless, obviously. So, Symington. Seems to have hurt himself. Give up, buddy, give up. Let's go ahead and put him in the trade center. Decent genes. A different zoo could take advantage of him and get some good quality babies, I think. Better for the species as a whole. What have we got over here? Look at these giant crowds. We have over 7K people in our zoo. The other thing I could do, though this would affect my finances, is I could limit the actual number of people in our zoo. Not just the number of people that we're rendering in our zoo, but the number of guests that we allow into our zoo. Doing that would certainly help. And actually, another thing that was pointed out to me, another loop that I could potentially make is over here. Let's actually take a look real quick to see how it might look, because I am curious. I was mulling this over. I am curious about if we were to pull the path out from there. A little bit wider, right? Maybe a little bit wider still. And we're just, let's say we were to do something like this. We still want it to look good, obviously. That we want it to look good. So let's start over here, perhaps. Terrain modification. I don't want terrain modification. Turn that off. There we go. So let's see. If we were going to do this, right? And make our way across. There we go. Flatten the train now. I don't think it's going to fly. I mean, it's pretty tightly packed because of the barriers and whatnot. So I'd have to really commit to wanting to do this. Or I could obviously do that. Let's see. Can we not do something like this, perhaps? And the question is it pretty? The answer is, it wasn't. I mean, we could maybe cover it up, right, to make it look like it's a proper extension. Yeah, we could do that. We could expand this so it looks like a proper expansion. Oh no, it's actually raised, so I don't know how well that would work. Come on. So we'd have to connect it. Okay. So alright, let's say, hypothetically, we do this. And over here, we'd have to cut through, obviously. Modification will fail. I'll have to, dig a hole. I mean, I'm just wondering if I want to do that. It'd be a nice spot to walk in, and it would build a loop over here as well. Well, how about this? How about before we commit to that? How about before we commit to that, we take a look and see how the loot behind the Komodo dragons is actually used, and if it's actually used. Because if it is, then we have proof of concept. We have evidence that guests are going to crowd a lot more in a space. And even though it's been mentioned, you know, apparently by devs and stuff before, I need to see something with my own 2 eyes. Dangerous animal. How are you still escaping? Did we not make this enclosure a full round? Thought we did. Oh, I see why. I guess we didn't. Also did not push this far enough. There we go. That's hopefully enough. Yeah, that should be enough. The only reason I don't want them to go all the way around is because if they get to go all the way around, it's more potential points of failure for our guests being like, oh, this is a crappy view. You know, I don't want to deal with that. Wow, they're really crowding around in here, aren't they? I'm guessing they're over here. Where are they? Oh, look at this. Look at this crowd. Is there a donation bin here? There is. How much money is in that donation bin right now? 760. It's April. Oh my god. Hot mess. Never would have thought this would get this crowded. But that's you know, it's okay. It's okay. People will make it through. They're trickling through. They're managing. How are they feeling though? Loving it, happy. Need rest. Thankfully, there's benches on the other side. Okay. Rock of Milk is too busy. There's also other places to go eat and drink, you know. Ying Tai is about to mate. That's good. Oh, so cute. Oh, so cute. Honestly, so adorable. Honestly, just so very adorable. Hopefully we get a successful inception there. Oh my god. Is that a mating dance? Oh, corkscrew backflips and whatnot. More vet research complete. And it's for the rhinos. Good stuff. Well, on the happy note of our pandas mating, potentially for the last time in their lives, I think it might be time to perchance call it a session here, folks. Looks like we have some guests heading up over here, which is nice. Oh yeah, we apparently do get guests up over here. I don't think we get... Oh, we get donations as well. All right, well, what do you know? Unfortunately, they're not up here right now. I wish guests would have that logic built into them, right? Like when I go to the zoo, when humans go to the zoo, and something has multiple viewing spots, and we go, oh, okay, they're not here. Let's go to the other spot that we can see them from, and see if we can't catch them. No one's catching this guy. Hiding in his little corner. Super happy though, so that's good. Great genes. Why are you wailing? Anyway, it's good to see that there's no negatives right now. Looks like our inspector has arrived. Orangutan. Why? What happened? Why the low score? What's wrong, buddy? Toy enrichment. Toy enrichment is low? I'm sorry. He just climbed the tree. And then he got to his climbing log. And now he's climbing across the tunnel. He is climbing across the tunnel. We're watching him climb across the tunnel, folks. Amazing. Amazing. And apparently its enrichment is the issue. So we're going to take a look at solving that, right? Make sure that enrichment stops being an issue for our animals. Maybe we do that next session alongside our push into China. Got to figure out if I'm going to do the pangolin or the red pandas. The red pandas have been often requested, most often requested, I think, and I'm curious to see their cuteness myself as well. You're thirsty, but you're not going to the water, and we know you can get back down there. And Amka is hungry. Looks like we really do need to go around with the toy enrichment. So, folks, I think that's what we're going to focus on for the next session. We are going to call it here for now, though, but I am quite pleased with our end results. That we saw some panda mating, so that's good. We might be expecting a panda baby, and we saw the use of our little, branch bridge, if you will. I'm not sure what to call it. Where'd he go? Where'd it? Oh, what a cutie! Just chilling down here. We'll never get old. This will never get old. But yeah, overall very happy with how things are looking. Hopefully, I mean, our security guards and stuff are using this bridge, but our mechanics as well. Our keeper huts down here, so that's all good. But I want guests to come up and down this area. We'll see if they start doing it soon. As always, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. Makes a massive difference in how I approach content on the channel. On the topic of massive, a massive thanks goes out to all of my channel members and patrons for supporting this channel on a monthly basis. You keep us alive and running smoothly. And a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.